Hi. So we're going to do the past life regression workshop. I'm so excited about this. So here we go. So, what happens to us after we die? I'm sure you've asked yourself that question before, right? If you haven't, you're probably the only one out of millions and billions of people who have inhabited this planet who haven't asked themselves that. When it's all over, is it really all over? Really all over? Or does something of us live on in some way conscious, a self-aware presence? And if we do have a self-aware presence, where do we go? What do we do? What becomes of us? Do we go to heaven and hang out playing a harp? Or do we get sent to that horrible hot place and play lead guitar in a heavy metal rock band? Or do we get another shot at this thing called life? These are worthy questions indeed. Hi, I'm Georgia Ryle, and I'll be your personal tour guide for today's past life regression workshop for this past life odyssey, a journey unlike any other, a voyage into the depths of the soul's memory, where the echoes of past experiences whisper secrets of lives once lived, where history and memory intertwine, offering insights into the present and healing for the future. I invite you to step into a quiet sanctuary of the mind where time folds upon itself and the boundaries of between lives blur. It's a realm where ancient wisdom is locked within the recesses of our being, waiting to be rediscovered. As we embark upon this grand odyssey, allow yourself to be guided through the corridors of time, to uncover the stories etched into your internal spirit, and to embrace the transformative power of remembering. It's what it is, it's remembering. The concept of reincarnation seems to offer one of the most attractive explanations of man's origin and destiny. There is an increasing interest in this topic today, sustained especially by books and magazines, TV broadcasts, movies, and conferences. Even Hollywood has gotten into the act. Many known, uh, m- many of you know Shirley MacLaine. You've heard of the actress Shirley MacLaine and her avid interest in reincarnation. She's so interested in it that she's written two books on the subject. Then there's the compelling story of the late actor and famous Hollywood leading man Glenn Ford. Under hypnosis, he recalled five previous lives, one in which as a French cavalryman under Louis the 14th. The astonishing part was that although Ford said he knew only a few basic phrases in French, under hypnosis he spoke French with ease while describing his life. And when recordings of his regression were sent to UCLA, they discovered that not only was Ford speaking fluent French, he was in fact speaking the Parisian dialect from the 17th century. Can you imagine that? Speaking French from the 17th century. Several years ago, television icon Winfrey devoted two shows to the subject. Katie Couric featured it on her TV show, in which she interviewed a hard-boiled former Indianapolis homicide detective by the name of Robert Snow. You may have heard of him. Snow told the story of how, on a dare, he underwent a past life regression in which he described living in New York City in the 1800s as a portrait artist by the name of J. Carroll Beckwith. After the regression, the skeptical Snow set out to disprove the purported validity of his past life experience, investigating it as he would a police case. Instead, he found not one, but 28 separate details that matched what he experienced during the regression. How about that? Once relegated to the worlds of spiritualism, mysticism, and occult phenomena, reincarnation, however, is not a hot mainstream topic. Not only do adherents of religious Eastern religions or New Age spirituality currently accept it, but so also do many who don't share such esoteric interests and convictions. Indeed, reincarnation distinguishes itself from other spiritual, mystical, and esoteric subjects because of its rapidly expanding amount of empirical evidence. Some argue, and I would agree, It is no more illogical to assume that reincarnation is a fact than it is to assume that each of us is limited to one birth and one death. So sit back, relax, and get ready for the ride of a lifetime, a voyage into the depths of your soul's memory, where the echoes of past experiences whisper secrets of lives once lived. And by the way, enjoy the journey and let's have some fun along the way. Most people are surprised to learn, and you may be too, that there is more than one type of past life regression. Actually, there are four. So let's take a look at those right now. The first type of session is the informational session. This is the most balanced of all the sessions. Many people seek out a past life regression out of simple curiosity. They want to know things like, who was I? What was my name? When and where did I live? What did I do and experience during that lifetime? When did I die? And stuff like that. This is the best type of regression for gathering information that is historically verifiable in terms of accuracy and veracity. On the other hand, some people want to become aware of the intricate associations between a particular past life and the current one. They want to know how a past life influences their present life. This session does both of those. As I said, it's a well-balanced type of session, while the others are more targeted. The second type of session is the karmic connection session, also known as a karmic counterpart. This is where we examine the past life that is most directly responsible for the current lifetime, or more accurately, what's going on currently in the person's life. We then explore the specific connections between the two. These connections may include relationships such as relatives, spouses, significant others, friends, co-workers, and more, and many more. Talents, abilities, likes and dislikes, hobbies, and careers. You'll get some information that is potentially verifiable in terms of historical accuracy, but not as much as the informational session. That's not the purpose of this session. The third type is the between life session. For some people, a between lives regression can be the most profound, life-changing, healing, and transformative experience of them all. A simple definition of between life regression, also known as the life between lives regression or a soul regression, is that it is a trip taken to the time between the person's death in the lifetime directly preceding this one and their birth into your current lifetime. It actually begins with a trip to the lifetime lived directly prior to this one, and then it segues into the between life state. So it's kind of like getting two trips in one. While in the between life state, they get to meet their soul guide, their soul group, experience planning their current life, and learning the reason and purpose of why they're here. In other words, what's it all about, Alfie? The fourth type of past life regression is past life therapy. Simply put, past life therapy is targeted past life regression used for emotional, spiritual, and sometimes physical healing. And targeted is the operative word here. For many people, past life therapy is the type of session that produces the most profound profound definable changes in them. To a greater or lesser degree, the other types of sessions give us information and or insight and understanding. Past life therapy also gives us information and insight and understanding, but it takes the process one step further and actively produces dynamic and often dramatic and specific change in an individual's condition and behavior. For several decades now, an increasing number of therapists have found that a host of human ills can be resolved through past life regression. The list includes fears, phobias, chronic pain, alcoholism, depression, obsessive compulsive disorders, relationship problems, sexual dysfunctions, self-esteem, and self-confidence issues. The list goes on and on and on. This is just a good example. What's really exciting, though, is that in many cases, and depending upon the presenting problem, the simple unearthing of the memories responsible for these disorders alleviates them to such an extent that the issue or problem is permanently resolved. Certainly in my own practice, I've seen dramatic improvements in physical and mental well-being. Phobias dissolve, chronic pain vanishes, Diseases disappear, emotional disturbances heal, relationships transform, even financial situations can markedly improve. And most amazing of all, researchers have found that you don't even have to believe in reincarnation in order to recall past lives or to benefit from remembering them. Whatever the explanation, in states of past life awareness, even the most diehard skeptic discovers that just about every one of us have our own apparent past life dramas lurking in our psyches, and the benefits of past life therapy remain unaffected regardless of whether we view these dramas as simply stories woven by the subconscious mind, or actual past life experiences. Today's session will be of the informational variety because that's the type of regression which best lends itself to a group situation. The others are more targeted to individual needs, which are best addressed on a personal, one-on-one basis that allows for interaction and for conversation between the facilitator and the person being hypnotized. So, if any of you are interested in any of those other types, please seek me at the break or contact me via Facebook Messenger or at Georgia Ryle at georgiaryle.com. Send me an email there. Just as there are different types of past life regression, there are also many different processes a person can use to access past life memories. But in my professional opinion and experience, the most efficient and effective means for getting to those memories is through hypnosis. Most people undergo a past life regression with three questions in mind. What if I can't be hypnotized? What if I didn't have a past life? What if I can't be regressed? In answer to the first question, everybody can be hypnotized. We have a whole set of misconceptions about what hypnosis is and isn't. And part of the problem is the word itself. It conjures up images of Count Dracula with the piercing dark eyes telling his victims, "You are in my power," or a mystical state, which you may have seen in a nightclub act, where people walk around flapping their arms like chickens. Well, this is none of those. Hypnosis is a word that means like sleep. As a matter of fact, hypnos is the Greek word for sleep. The way I use it in this workshop is a form of light sleep. Therefore, if you went to sleep last night, you can be hypnotized. It's that simple, and it's quite easy. You see, it's all a matter of brainwave levels, and the levels your brain is operating at in hypnosis are the exact same as it operates in under any other altered state of consciousness, such as meditation or yoga or guided imagery and stuff like that. The difference, however, is in what we do with it. Hypnosis is an actively applied altered state of consciousness. In other words, it's a tool for which we use for a specific purpose. In this case, to access and explore the past life memories. And that's a very critical difference. And that being said, don't expect to feel hypnotized, quote unquote. If you're expected to be tranced out in some kind of zombie state, you're going to be very disappointed. That doesn't exist. That is Hollywood. And that's not real life. For our purpose, hypnosis is relaxation. You're just very pleasantly relaxed. Hypnosis allows us to bypass the conscious part of the mind and communicate directly with the subconscious, which is where the past life memories reside or where we're given access to them. So, in answer to the second question, what if I didn't have a past life? There's a theory that souls were created at the time of the Big Bang, almost 14 billion years ago. Probably safe to say that in that time, everybody has had a past life, some more than others. While theoretically possible, I've personally never had a client who didn't have a past life. And as to the third question, what if I can't be regressed? Over the years, I've developed certain techniques, tricks of the trade, if you will, which ensures that virtually every one of my clients will experience, to one degree or another, the phenomena suggestive of a past life. Your problem will most likely be not that you can't be hypnotized, or if you had a past life, or if you can't be regressed, but you'll find yourself struggling instead with the question, but did I make it all up? The impressions are easy to get. What's difficult is to decide whether they're fantasy coming from your own memories or books or movies, or whether they reflect an actual past reality. You'll find yourself struggling with that question from some time to come. But there are definitely some things I can do that will help you answer these questions. But more about that later on. Rest assured, though, you're going to experience some very interesting places in your very own mind. If I can use an analogy, what you and I will be doing is exploring your own dream state with me as the questioner. Past life recall is apparently very similar to the state you're in when you're dreaming, only you're not really dreaming. The same kind of mental functions occur in this hypnotic recall state as occur in this dream state, with one important exception. Physiologically, the part of the brain responsible for putting us to sleep, call it the reticular activating system, doesn't completely shut down under hypnosis and render us unconscious as it does during the actual sleep state. And that's why some definitions of hypnosis call it a state resembling sleep but physiologically distinct from it. So, in the kind of hypnotic state that I'll be using for this session, you'll be exceptionally relaxed and totally aware of what's happening around you, unlike the actual sleep state. But you'll also hear me use the word sleep a lot. I'll be saying things to you like, you're going deep asleep. And I do that to take advantage of the emotional connotations of that word. Because for most of the people, it means rested, relaxed, lethargic. And that's exactly what I want you to be feeling. But again, you won't be asleep in the literal sense of the word. Now, the question is, who is you that dreams? I want you to think about that for a moment. How many of you can remember at least one dream from some time in your life? Okay, I want you to think about how you dream. When you're in that dream, both time and space change, right? You can be in your home in 1 minute in your dream, and then in the next second, you can be someplace else. And you've also probably noticed that sometimes you're experiencing as yourself in the dream and looking around you at the other dream figures. And other times you can see your dreaming self in your dream as though you're observing yourself. You're on the outside looking in, so to speak, as though the dream itself is on a stage. Remember that? You may experience the same phenomena in the past life recall. Everyone perceives differently in a past life regression. Past life recall state is not necessarily a visual state. This is a mistaken assumption a lot of people make. Some people, probably most, will see images. Some get vivid images, and others get hazy or vague images. A very few won't see at all. They'll feel the images or they'll hear voices in their head. Whatever you get, accept it, don't fight it, and above all, trust it. I'm going to begin by having you close your eyes, and then I tell you to relax, and you're going to be listening in full awareness of everything I'm saying. Then I'm going to do something called progressive relaxation. I'm going to relax your body from the top of your scalp to the tips of your toes. Then I'm going to deepen the state. I'll then ask you to flash on pleasant memories and experiences in this life that you're not likely to immediately consciously recall. It might be something you haven't thought about in a very long time. I do this for a couple of reasons. First, I want to give you the experience of that instant flat memory flash that you get under hypnosis. Second, I want you to realize the incredible capacity of that marvelous computer we call the subconscious mind to recall things that might have been long lost to conscious awareness. And in that way, you recognize and realize that you have the ability to remember much more than past experiences from your current life. You can think of it as a conditioning process. Just as athletes need to get conditioned before a race or a meet, we can really enhance your experience in this session today by conditioning you to process before we jump to a past life. So in this session, I'm going to have you experience brief images of 6 different historical time periods. I'll then direct your subconscious mind to select one of those periods which it is particularly drawn to, and I'll then have you experience a past life within that particular time period. At the end of the session, I'll give you a very special post-hypnotic suggestion. I'll tell you that you will remember everything you have received and experienced during this session. And you will continue to gain more and more information about this past life as time passes. You'll find that during the day, and sometimes even in your dreams, little flashes and memories of what you experienced during this regression will pop into your mind. I do this because we all have a tendency to consciously forget some of the many details we experience. Yet, once accessed, these details from a previous and even our current lifetime are always subconsciously stored in the mind and often pop into our conscious awareness when we least expect it. It never hurts to have a little assistance with this natural process. Always remember that what you come up with in this session is meaningful to you. It's in your head, and there's always a reason why we experience anything we do. And I want to give you the opportunity to incorporate this into your understanding of yourself. Right after the session, I'm going to give you, or rather send you, a trip record. This will have sections key to what you'll be experiencing during the regression. This will allow you to write down your experiences while they're fresh in your mind. So basically, then, what I'm going to do is take you on a directed dream. I'm going to take you back through time, give you 6 different time periods in the past, and I'm going to get you to get some images or impressions of those time periods. Technically, this is really a process of free association. You may have heard about this in Jung or Freud's techniques as a way of getting to the subconscious. I ask you to get an image, and the process is very rapid. It may go like this. I may say 1860, and you'll see Scarlett O'Hara's mansion and say to yourself, it's ridiculous. That's a movie. It never happened. And you'll go on and you'll see an image of Abraham Lincoln in a top hat, and you'll think to yourself, I wasn't Abe Lincoln. And then pretty soon, a horse and buggy will flash into your mind, or maybe butter churn with the corner chipped out of it. That is, you tend to go from your general knowledge of a period and your association to a period to a more specific bit of imagery. Then I give you these instructions. I say, your subconscious mind will choose a time period to experience a past life that will not be upsetting to you. And this is a very interesting instruction because I found it works very well. Some people will start into one time period and find themselves being jerked out of it and into another one. And the one they end up in might not be all that pleasant. You may have read or heard of people kind of freaking out when they go to past lives. They're being murdered by somebody who turns out to be their husband in this life. You know, that type of thing. For some reason or other, when you just take people back and say, go back before you were born, they're sometimes drawn to those rather tragic and exciting past lives. Now, I don't want that. I want you to experience this phenomenon without having to go through any emotional turmoil. I don't want you to suffer. I want this to be fun. I find this type of suggestion works very well, that your subconscious will direct you and will keep you from having disturbing experiences. I'll tell you that you'll choose one time period and you'll find yourself there, and I take you through experiencing certain details of that life, some significant, some insignificant, but all potentially verifiable. I think you'll find this useful too because you see, the problem's not getting hypnotized. The problem is believing what you come up with. You'll fill out a trip record and you'll have all your answers. Now, I ask you to write down all these details so you'll have something to research. That is, you'll be able to take home with you this trip record on which you've written these details. And you can do a little looking up on the web or in books, or if you're older and you have them, encyclopedias. So we're going to look at the things that are most readily and easily researchable. This trip is designed to give you some rational basis for possibly deciding whether or not what you experienced was just another dream or fantasy trip, or it represented a real past life. It's your own research trip. You'll get the details and you'll be able to research it, but we'll also look at some of the associations between that life and your current one. Then I take you to your death in that lifetime. But I tell your subconscious that you will feel no pain and no fear. And for if any reason the experience becomes upsetting to you, you can choose not to experience it. So once again, I put your subconscious in charge of the situation, and under hypnotic instruction, if you begin to feel any discomfort at the death experience, you'll just simply be removed from it. After the session, you'll be writing down the information under post hypnotic suggestion. As a matter of fact, I give you several post hypnotic suggestions. The one I always use is that you will remember vividly all that you experience because that's the most difficult is to be able to retrieve this information when you've been in the hypnotic state. Then I tell you that you'll be able to write easily and without difficulty answers to my questions, and you'll be able to do this rapidly. This is sort of cheating, but I find that most people, when they fill out forms, and we're all different, some people are very slow and meticulous, and others are very fast. I find that if I tell you it will come and flow easily, I get the reports done roughly at the same time. Everybody's sitting there writing, so you'll have post hypnotic help in filling out your forms. At the end of the trip, I'll give you a very special post hypnotic suggestion. I tell you that during the next 7 days, you'll dream about the experiences you had in the workshop. And with those dreams, you'll remember them, or at least one of them. And gradually, you'll come to understand why these images and answers come into your head. Even during the day, little flashes and memories of what you experienced in the seminar will come in. I do this because whether you consider past life recall a bunch of baloney and reincarnation nonsense, or whether you're a true believer in past lives, whatever your intellectual or social attitude is, what you come up with in this seminar is meaningful to you. It's in your head, and there's always a reason why you're experiencing anything we do. And I want you to be able to incorporate this into your understanding of yourself. Now, I want to answer any questions you have before we take a short break and we get going on actually doing it instead of talking about it. So, right now, we're going to take about a 5-minute break, and I'm going to pause the recording and then we'll get back and we'll start. So, now make sure you're sitting comfortably, arms and hands not crossed, arms and legs not crossed, just comfortably by your side or by your in your lap if you want to put them in your lap. Um, Make sure your pets are out of the room, your phone is on silent or off, and let's get started. Oh, and make sure there's a pen and paper handy close by. So, to recapitulate, in this session, I'm going to give you 6 different time periods in the past, and I'm going to have you get some images or impressions of those time periods. I will tell you that you will choose one time period and you will be there, and I take you through experiencing the details of it. After the session, I ask you to immediately write down all these details so you will have something to research. So, in a very real sense, this past life regression is designed to give you some rational basis for possibly deciding whether or not what you got today was just another dream or fantasy trip or it represented a real past life. I want your ego to go along on these trips. If there's no involvement of your conscious self in the hypnosis, you won't be able to remember your experiences and you won't be able to fill out the trip record. So keep your ego along on the trips and let it chatter away to you. But at the same time, try to let the images, feelings, thoughts, and impressions come up from your subconscious into your conscious mind in response to my questions and suggestions. The secret to receiving value from this process is trust. Trust your thoughts, trust your feelings, trust your imagination. Let me get my clock back up here. Here we go. Okay. Don't be afraid to use your imagination to prime the pump a bit. Many of you might have heard about how people used to have to pour a dipper of water down the top of an old pump. Do you remember that? I know y'all are not old enough for that, but before they could get it to bring up fresh water. Your imagination can be that initial dipper of priming water. If, for example, I suggest that you conjure up a marketplace in your mind, you may not instantly receive a clear, independent image of one, but you do know what a marketplace might look like. So go ahead and imagine one from your own memory. It may be one that you've actually visited or one that you've read about in a book or seen in a movie, but whatever it is, it'll work for you. Just make it up if you have to. Once you have your imagined marketplace or whatever fixed in your mind, you'll be amazed how quickly some other marketplace will come springing to life and take charge of your thoughts. The important thing is that you not block my suggestions. Don't waste even a second worrying about what kind of image you should see. Whatever I suggest on these trips, don't hesitate to use your own imagination if the image doesn't appear at once. In each instance, the important thing is that you respond to my suggestions. If, after a few moments, your imagined or made up image doesn't generalize to something more appropriate for that particular time period that you find yourself in, don't worry about it. It could quite possibly not be relevant to that particular lifetime. After the session, you can say, I think I made it all up, but I don't want to hear anybody say, I didn't get anything, because that shows me that you can't trust yourself or listen to instructions. If something popped into that space between your ears, whether independently or you put it there, it's there for a reason. So trust. It's critically important that you not attempt to analyze or rationalize what you experience here today, even if it seems silly or unusual. You can analyze it all you want later. Remember the old adage, go with the flow? That's exactly what I want you to do here. The most important thing is that you not block my suggestions. Don't waste even a second worrying about what kind of image you should see. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Don't analyze it. Don't rationalize it. Simply trust it. With most people, when they open their eyes, immediately the ego comes back in and says, all right, what book or what movie did I get that from? And you immediately try to label and classify your experience in terms of what your ego knows to be reality. But at any rate, you'll be wondering, where did I get this from? And that's perfectly normal. So let's begin. Sit back, relax, and make yourself comfortable. Let your hands rest easily in your lap or on the arms of the chair and adjust yourself to the most comfortable position you like. That's fine. Just close your eyes and let them stay closed. Good. Now, I'd like you to notice just how much more comfortable you can feel by taking one very big, deep, satisfying, lung-filling breath. Go ahead. A deep and satisfying breath. That's fine. You may already notice how good that makes you feel. Now then, I'd like you to think of the muscles in your scalp and forehead growing very comfortable and relaxed. You find that as you think of these muscles relaxing, they will do so. And as the muscles of the forehead relax, you may notice a slight increase in the tension around the eyebrows. Concentrate on the eyebrows and all around the eyes, and this tension just fades away. Feel the tiny muscles of the eyelids relax and let the relaxation move deep inside the eyes, deep in back of the eyes. And as the muscles of the eyelids relax, they may have a tendency to flutter or they may close even more tightly. It doesn't really matter as long as they're relaxed. Let all the facial muscles relax over the cheekbones and the cheeks, the jaw and the chin, the lips and the mouth. Relax. Let the relaxation move deep inside the mouth. And as the muscles of the mouth relax, you find that your mouth automatically becomes not too moist and not too dry, but just moist enough to keep you perfectly comfortable. Feel the relaxation spread deep in back of the throat, deep in back of the head and neck, deep into the neck and shoulders. And as the muscles of the neck and shoulders relax, it feels perhaps like 1,000 little fingers are gently massaging the muscles of the neck and shoulders. Now, let the arms relax. Relax the upper arms. Concentrate on the forearms and feel them relax. All the muscles between the elbows and wrists relax. Feel the relaxation spreading across the tops of the hands and deep into the hands, deep through the hands to the palms. Now the fingers relax all the way to the fingertips. And as the fingers relax, you may or may not experience a slight tingling in the fingers. If you do, you find it to be a very pleasant sensation, a very pleasant tingling in the fingers. Bring your attention back again to the relaxed muscles of the neck and shoulders. Let the relaxation flow into the chest and lungs. Your breathing is easy and gentle. You feel yourself relaxing even more with each gentle and easy breath. You're noticing now that the sounds that were distracting you become less so. You refuse to allow any outside sounds to interfere with your relaxation. Only the sound of my voice is important now, and all the sounds you hear now become a part of your experience of comfort and relaxation as you continue to drift on down so comfortably, so pleasantly, so peacefully relaxed. Let the relaxation spread into the broad of the back. Feel it move gently down the back to the small of the back. Feel the relaxation spreading around and deep into the sides. Let the muscles of the abdomen relax deep into the abdomen. All of the muscles of the abdomen and hips relax. Now, let the legs relax. Feel the relaxation spreading into the thighs and knees. Let the calves of the legs relax all the way to the ankles. Now let the feet relax. The heels of the feet, the undersides of the feet, deep through the feet to the tops, and finally, even the toes relax. It feels so good to relax and let go of all tension and all care. Some people, as they relax in this way, feel their entire body becoming heavy and tired. Their legs, arms, shoulders, neck, and head become very heavy and very, very tired. Their head may feel so heavy and so tired that it gently drops forward and the chin rests comfortably on the chest. So heavy, so tired, so relaxed. Other people experience a feeling of lightness, almost as if their body and mind were drifting through space or floating on a cloud. Drifting and floating, floating and drifting. It doesn't really matter what you feel as long as you are relaxed. As I continue to talk now, nothing more than the sound of my voice tends to lull you toward a very restful, relaxing form of sleep, completely relaxed all over. You're going down, down, deeper and deeper to sleep. You feel all muscle tension, all mental tension disappearing now, entering a beautiful, restful, peaceful, relaxing, and serene place known as hypnosis, where there's nothing to do, no one to bother you, nothing to disturb you, no one you have to please, no one you have to satisfy. There's only physical and emotional peace, comfort, and tranquility. More deeply relaxed than you've ever known yourself to be as you go deeper, deeper, and deeper to sleep. So calm, so comfortable, so relaxed, with no need, no desire to awaken until I give you the signal to awaken, because you're enjoying this beautiful peace, comfort, and tranquility so very, very much. So deep asleep now that only sleep seems to matter. With each gentle and easy breath you take, with every moment that passes, with each and every word I speak to you, you just relax even more and go even deeper to sleep, even deeper to sleep. But no matter how deep you go into the hypnotic state, you will never be out of touch with the sound of my voice. And although you may be aware of all the sounds inside or outside this room, you find that these sounds do not bother or disturb you at all. They just help you to relax even more and go even deeper to sleep, even deeper to sleep. My voice, and my voice alone, is always louder and clearer than all other sounds inside or outside this room. You focus intently on my questions and instructions. If you drop too deep, if you drop too deeply asleep, you will hear my voice saying, now. You will respond to the word now, and it will sound loud and clear but pleasant in your ear, and you will come up just enough to focus once again intently on my questions. Pictures, images, sounds, impressions, feelings float easily into your mind in response to my questions. Other sounds in the room around you will focus you more intently on my questions, my instructions, and my suggestions. And if you should ever feel physically uncomfortable in your position, you can always feel free to change your position and make yourself more comfortable, realizing that as you do, that just helps you to relax even more and go even deeper to sleep. And as you continue to drift way down, I'd like you to picture and imagine yourself standing at the top of a beautiful flight of stairs. These stairs are covered with your very favorite type and color of carpet. There are 10 steps on this stairway, and as I count downward from 10 to 0, I'd like you to picture and imagine yourself slowly stepping down the stairway. With each and every numeral I count downward, with each and every step you take downward, you find yourself going even 10 times deeper asleep, 10 times deeper asleep. When I reach the count of 0 and you reach the bottom of the stairs, you'll be 1,000 times deeper than you are now, 1,000 times deeper, counting now. 10, As you step down, going deeper and deeper to sleep. 9, deeper yet, much, much deeper asleep. 8, so calm, so comfortable, so relaxed as you drift on down. 7, continuing to drift way down. 6, deeper yet, there's no one to bother you, nothing to disturb you, no one you need to please, no one you have to satisfy. 5, halfway there now as you continue to drift on down. 4, more calm, comfortable, and relaxed than you've ever known yourself to be as you drift on down. 3, deeper yet, much, much, much deeper asleep. 2, so calm, so comfortable, so relaxed as you drift on down. 1, almost to the bottom now, and you feel so peaceful, calm, relaxed, and tranquil. And with the next numeral, you go even 1,000 times deeper. And now, 0. With each and every breath you take, with every moment that passes, you just relax even more and go even deeper to sleep, even deeper to sleep. And as you continue to drift on down, so calm, so comfortable, so relaxed, I want you to go back into your memory to a time when you were standing at the front door of your house or apartment where you live now. You're now standing outside in front of the door of your own house or apartment. Your eyes are seeing that door. Your brain has registered it, and you're there now. Now, I want you to make a leap of the imagination. I want you to leave the front of your house or apartment by lifting gently off the ground, and I want you to fly, just as you might have done in your dreams. You're flying now, free and light, and you're flying to the ocean, to your favorite ocean beach. You're now hovering over the beach, and you can see the lacy patterns that the foam makes after the waves break on the sand. You make a gentle landing on the beach, and ahead of you are endless miles of sparkling white sand that seem to go on for infinity. Not a single soul is in sight. It's a beautiful, clear, sunny day at the beach. You can feel the gentle caress of a soothing ocean breeze. Smell the aroma of the sea. Taste the salt air on your lips. You can hear the soft cries of seagulls circling lazily overhead. And you listen now to the sounds of the sea, the rhythmic sound of the waves as they lap against the shore. You're listening to the same restful lullaby that the ocean has been singing to men and women for thousands and thousands of years. Now you're soaring up over the ocean, higher and higher now. You're weightless like an astronaut, free of gravity. Dip and soar. Turn somersaults if you like. Catch the corner of a breeze and glide on it like a seagull. You glance to your right and you notice a fluffy white cloud. It's a small cloud, but it's exquisitely formed. It's a beautiful cloud with magnificent peaks and valleys. You feel at peace looking up at the cloud's fluffiness, its rich, thick fullness. It's soft and white, and it appears to be glowing. As it catches the rays of sunlight and shines with beautiful prismatic colors. As you watch the cloud, you feel a great desire to ride on it, knowing that because you're weightless, this special cloud will hold you safely in space. You know that if you mounted the cloud, you would then be able to move into the heavens themselves, You could enjoy the beauty of the twinkling stars. Fly over to that cloud and settle down into its soft, fluffy center. It's so comfortable on the cloud and so peaceful. And you lie back as if you're relaxing in an incredibly soft and comfortable easy chair. And as you float there on that cloud, so calm, so comfortable, so relaxed, you know that there's nothing to bother you, no one to disturb you. You have nothing to fear, and no one can harm you. A ray of light shines from the heavens and touches your strong and fluffy cloud. It causes your cloud to glow softly. The radiance is different from any other light you've ever seen. You can feel it as well as see it. It feels strangely wonderful, and it causes you to become very happy and content within yourself. And the cloud begins to float upward, higher and higher still. As you drift and float and drift, you glance easily down toward the earth. You can see the trees, the countryside, the cities and towns growing smaller and smaller until they look like tiny toys on a green blanket. You're rising higher and higher, far above the ground. Smell the fresh winds as the air becomes fresher and cleaner the higher you go. You breathe deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, and you settle back comfortably on your cloud to rest and enjoy the feelings of peace, comfort, and tranquility. And as you float higher and higher, a strange and wondrous thing begins to happen. You're going backwards in time. The years are falling away like the pages of a calendar. I want you to go back to a pleasant experience that happened between the ages of 20 and the age you are now. Go back to a pleasant and happy experience or event that happened between the ages of 20 and the age you are now. It might be something you haven't thought about in a long time, but whatever it is, it's a pleasant and happy memory which you easily access and remember. With each and every breath you take, with every moment that passes, this memory becomes sharper, more focused, and much more detailed. You are there now. Notice how you look and what you're wearing. Notice your hairstyle. Be aware if there are other people around you. Take a Take a few moments now to enjoy this memory until you hear my voice again. Recognizing and realizing that you can remember much more than this present life memory. Also recognizing and realizing that whatever it is you're remembering for a reason. Of all the thousands and thousands of memories in your mind, you might ask yourself, why this memory? What is its significance? And the answer to that question may come immediately, or it may come in time when you least expect it to. Just like all the memories you'll be experiencing today from this life and a past life, continuing to move backwards in time, you're in your teens now. You're 16 years old. See and feel yourself at 16 years of age. Notice what you look like at this time in your life. Be aware of what you're doing and if there's anyone else there with you. Growing younger still, you're 15, 14, 13, 12 years old. See and feel yourself at 12 years of age. Continuing to move backwards in time, you're now 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 years old. See and feel yourself at 5 years of age. Growing younger still, you're now 4, 3, 2, 1, and still you move backward in time, back to the time of your birth, into your mother's womb, floating so peacefully in the amniotic fluid, safe and secure, just as you are now on your cloud. And still, you go further back through time and space. And although you're still uniquely you, you cease to inhabit the physical confines of your body. It's like you were a ball of radiant energy, and your cloud takes you into that vast blackness of space. Suddenly, you see an opening ahead of you, and it's coming closer and closer. You easily slip through this opening, and you now see that it's not merely an opening, but a tunnel through space and time. And it's filled with a myriad designs and multicolored lights floating all around you. And there's a bright white light at the end of the tunnel. See the light far ahead at the end of the tunnel. As you speed to the end of the tunnel, you become aware of a sensation of rising energy all around you. You're aware of a high-pitched ringing sound that's growing in intensity. The multicolored lights dance around you, and you experience an incredible feeling of well-being. Ecstasy as you realize that you're moving even further back through time, back through space, to a life you lived before this one, to another existence, a place and time where your own unique entity inhabited another physical body, in another place, in another time. Coming swiftly to the end of the tunnel, you find yourself bathed in a beautiful, warm, soothing, and protective white light, and now you slip easily through it into a strange and glorious place, the place that exists beyond time. And now your cloud begins to slowly descend, and as it does, I want you to be aware that in that great expanse of time and place that lie before you, your soul has led many lifetimes, and you can sense them, feel them, and maybe even see some of them as if it were a kaleidoscope in front of you, moving swiftly. If you've drifted too deep, if you're deep into your sleep state, my voice reaches you first as if from a long way off, now. But you are homing in once more on my thoughts, on my questions, and on my instructions now. And my words come through vividly to you, no matter how deeply asleep you may be. And you're going to find that your subconscious mind will immediately and automatically remove you from the recall of any disturbing material you may not be prepared to deal with at this time. And you see below you a panorama of the earth from the beginning to the present date. You see all the lands, all the continents, all the peoples. And now your cloud begins to slowly descend. And as it does, I want you to become aware that in that great expanse of time and place that lie before you, your soul has led many lifetimes. But there is a particular lifetime that might have particular relevance to you now, or might be one that you're just curious about. I'm now going to call out certain time periods. And as I call out a particular period, I'd like you to let an image come into your mind. I'd then like you to choose a time period to explore further. You will allow your subconscious mind to choose a lifetime that will not be upsetting to you. Furthermore, this will be a lifetime in which you lived at least 30 years. I repeat, you will allow your subconscious mind to choose a lifetime that will not be upsetting to you. Furthermore, this will be a lifetime in which you lived at least 30 years. Your subconscious mind is further free to choose a time 60 or to 80 years before or after the general time periods I'm about to call out. You're drifting back through time, and it's 1900. the time period anywhere around 1900. Let an image or impression come into your mind of a lifetime around 1900. Remember that image or impression from around 1900. Now, you're drifting further back in time. You're drifting back and it's 1800. The time period anywhere around 1800. Let an image or impression come into your mind of a lifetime around 1800. Remember that image or impression from around 1800. Now you're drifting back further in time. You're drifting back and it's 1700. The time period anywhere around 1700. Let an image or impression come into your mind of a lifetime around 1700. Remember that image or impression from around 1700. Drifting further back in time now, you're drifting back and it's 1500. The time period anywhere around 1500. Let an image or impression come into your mind of a lifetime around 1500. Remember that image or impression from around 1500. Drifting way back in time, you're drifting back and it's 25 AD. The time period anywhere around 25 AD. Let an image or impression come into your mind of a lifetime around 25 AD. Remember that image or impression from around 25 AD. Now you're again drifting further back in time. You're drifting back and it's 500 BC. The time period anywhere around 500 BC. Let an image or impression come into your mind of a lifetime around 500 BC. Remember that image or impression from around 500 BC. Now, I'm going to review for you the 6 time periods, and when I complete the review, your subconscious mind is going to choose just one of those time periods to explore further. It will choose the time period where the image came quickest and was the most vivid, but you will not go to a time period where you will have any kind of upsetting experience. I repeat, you will not go to a time period where you will have any upsetting experience. Remember your images now as I review: 1900, 1800, 1700, 1500, 25 AD, 500 BC. Just let the images come into your mind and allow your subconscious mind to choose a particular time period which will not be upsetting to you. Your cloud continues to descend, and as it does, and as you prepare to experience a former life, you're going to find that your subconscious mind will immediately remove you from the recall of any disturbing material you may encounter or for which you may not be presently prepared to deal with. And if you so choose, you can always return to the peace, comfort, safety, and security of your cloud for the duration of the session. I repeat, your subconscious mind will immediately remove you from the recall of any disturbing material you may encounter or for which you may not be presently prepared to deal with. And if you so choose, you can always return to the peace, comfort, safety, and security of your cloud. Your cloud now comes to a gentle landing and you step off of it. And as you step off that cloud, you're actually beginning to feel eager and even excited because you realize that there's something for you to learn here. So to help you learn in a moment, I'm going to ask you some questions. Questions which you will easily be able to answer within your own mind without having to bother with the needless verbalizing. You will you find me someone very comfortable to be around and whom you feel quite at ease with. And as you step off that cloud, I want you to look down at your feet. What are you wearing on them? Now, look around. Notice the terrain and landscape. Are there trees or forests or meadows or rock? Is it desert? Is it jungle? Is it flat or hilly? Are you in a town, city, on a farm, in a village, or someplace else? Can you see any buildings? If you do see buildings, be aware of the architecture. Does it indicate a certain time period? Now, notice the climate. Is it hot or cold? Warm or cool? Is it dry or humid? About what season of the year is it? What are you wearing? Feel the texture of the material. Now, I want you to step outside of that body for just a few moments and look carefully at it. Examine it. Notice the physical appearance and characteristics. Are you male or female? See the color of your skin. Is your hair straight or curly? See the color of your hair. Do you notice any distinguishing features about yourself? About how old are you? Now, I'd like you to flash on the modern geographical name of the area in which you live. Flash on the modern geographical name of the area in which you live. If you're having any difficulty doing this, then picture a modern geographical map and you'll see the name. As we continue to examine this past life, from time to time, we're going to look at certain important life events, as we call them. These can be weddings, funerals, graduations, award ceremonies, an accident, serving in the military, fighting in a war, actually any event or happening that has a particular importance and significance in that life. Now, you have the ability to move backward or forward in time in that life. So, whatever age you happen to be, I want you to move to your childhood in that life. This may mean moving forward or backward in that life, but at the count of 3, I want you to go to your childhood. Counting now, 1, 2, and 3. What kind of games do you play? What activities do you participate in? Who are your friends and playmates? Do you have a favorite friend or playmate? If so, what's their name? Now, I want you to go to an important life event from this time in your life. At the count of 3, you'll be at an important life event from this time in your life. Counting now, 1, 2, 3. You're there now. See, feel, and experience it clearly. Be aware if the activities you participated in or the life event you just experienced from this time in that life has any significance, association, or connection to this, your current life. Now, I'd like to flash on your first name in that life. If for some reason you're having difficulty flashing on a name, you notice that someone is turning to you. They're saying something to you. They use your name. What do they call you? What's your last name? Now, time is passing, and I'd like you to go to an evening meal time. Are you inside or outside? Are there other people with you? If so, who are they? What is their relationship to you? Now look down at what you're eating from. Is it a plate or a bowl? Now look closely at what you're eating. Taste the food. Is it spicy or bland? Are you using any utensils to eat the food? If you are, look carefully at these. Now look around and notice other household objects, if any. Time is passing now, and you're growing older in that life. I want you to go to your teen years in that life. At the count of three, you'll be in your teens. Counting now. One, two, three. Do you attend a school of some sort? What subjects or skills are you learning? Who's teaching you? What are your feelings toward your teacher and what you're learning? At the count of three, you'll be at an important life event from this time in your life. Counting now. One, two, three. You're there now. See, feel, and experience it clearly. Be aware if the activities you participated in school or the life event you just experienced from this time in that life has any significance, association, or connection to this, your current life. Time is passing now. Time is passing. You're growing older. You're now a mature adult. Notice where you are. Where do you live? Do you live in a town, a city, the country? What's the name of the place where you live? What's the name of the street or road you live on? What's the address? Does anyone else live with you? Are you married? What's his name if you are, or what's her name if you are? Do you have any children? If so, what are their names? What do you do for a living? What is your station in life? Are you wealthy, poor, middle class? Time is passing now. Time passes. And you're now going to a store or market to do some shopping. Are you inside or is this an outdoor marketplace? If there are buildings, then notice the architecture of the buildings. Notice what they're made of. Notice the other people around you. Hear their voices. Are there any smells associated with the store or marketplace? How about sounds? Are you trading for your goods or are you buying them? If you're buying them, Then see and feel the money that you're exchanging for them. I'd like you to flash upon the name of the place you're in. Now, if for some reason you're finding it difficult to summon the name of the place, I'd like you to listen to the people around you. Someone mentions the place name and you instantly recognize it. Now, I want you to go to an important life event. At the count of three, you'll be at an important life event from this time in your life. You may be in a work situation, a political situation, at home. You may even be seeing yourself fighting a war. It'll only take you a few moments to fully experience this scene. Counting now. 1, 2, 3. You're there now. See, feel, and experience it clearly. Be aware if the activities you participated in or the life event you just experienced from this time in that life has any significance, association, or connection to this, your current life. Time is passing now. Time passes, and you now find yourself at some sort of communal event or ceremony. It might be a religious ceremony or a town meeting, or a feast or a contest, or a party or a celebration of some sort. What's the nature of this ceremony or event? Where is it taking place? What is its purpose? What is its significance? Who is officiating? How are they dressed? Are you a participant or an observer? If you're participating, what is your role? Now see a scene from this event or ceremony. Are there any sounds or smells associated with it? See or experience it clearly. It'll only take you a few moments to fully experience it. You're taking a journey now, some sort of trip. By what method are you traveling? Automobile, boat, train, airplane, horse, buggy, foot? From where did you leave and what is your destination? What are the names of these places? For what purpose are you making this trip? Are you alone or with others? See a scene from this trip. It'll only take you a few moments to fully experience it. Quickly scan the next 10 years of your life. It will only take a few moments. Be aware of any outstanding event, historical or otherwise, and any personal accomplishment. Be aware of anything that happened during that time in your life which might have any significant association or connection to this, your current life. Time is passing now, moving on. At the count of three, and not before the count of three, without pain, distress, fear, apprehension, or emotion of any kind, you're going to move forward to the very last day of your life in this past life you're now examining. You will not have died. You will not have crossed over into the spirit, but on the count of three, it will indeed be the last day of your life in this past life. Counting now. 1, 2, and 3. You'll remember everything that happened, but you'll feel no physical pain or emotional discomfort. You realize that you're physically here and now, and this is simply an exercise in remembering. There's no need for you to express distress of any kind on any level. You may disassociate yourself from the situation and observe it as if watching a movie or television. And should you choose not to experience it, you'll simply return to your cloud. Now, it's a few moments before the time of your death. This is simply an exercise in remembering. There is no reason for you to feel fear, pain, distress, apprehension, or emotion on any level. Where are you and what are you doing? Approximately what age are you? Now, death is very near. How do you feel about the prospect of dying now that it's so close? How do you feel about your life? Did you accomplish what you intended with this lifetime? Now, on the count of 3, and not before the count of 3, and without pain, distress, fear, apprehension, or emotion of any kind, you will pass through the experience of your death and cross over into the spirit. You will have just left your physical body, and you'll find yourself in spirit on the other side. It will be just a few moments after you've left your physical body in this past life incarnation you're now examining. Counting now, 1, 2, and 3. You're now in spirit, and it's time to orient to your new surroundings. How did you die? How old were you when you died? Do you feel or sense or perceive anyone else there with you? Is anything being communicated to you? Thinking about that past life you just experienced, what do you like most about the person you were in that life? What do you like least about the person you were in that life? If you could go back and change anything in that life, what would it be? Understand and hear any message you should take from that life. Now, I'd like you to flash on the year that you died in modern terms. Flash on the year that you died in modern terms. Now you're leaving that time and place, floating back up into space, back up to your cloud. As you climb onto your cloud, stretch out and relax. All your body systems return to normal. You have no physical or emotional discomfort as a result of your experiences on this trip. You bring with you all information and impressions which will be of benefit to you, and you leave behind anything which might be harmful or detrimental to you in any way. If it is harmful or detrimental to you in any way, you will simply forget it, and it will no longer be part of your conscious memory. The slate will be wiped clean of any and all harmful and detrimental past life memories, but the happy, pleasant, and useful ones will remain. You're now floating on your cloud. You're relaxed, and all your organ systems are returning to normal. Now it's time to return to the here and now, to this time, this place, this lifetime. When I awaken you, the answers that flashed in your mind to my questions will be vivid in your memory. You will remember everything you have received and re-experienced during this session, and you will continue to gain more and more information about this past life as time passes. During the next 7 days, you will dream about the experiences you had in this session. And during the day, in odd moments of the day, bits and pieces of the experiences that you may have consciously forgotten will return to your awareness. Your subconscious mind will work on absorbing and integrating these experiences into your conscious awareness. At the end of 7 days, you will have a deeper understanding of yourself. You will see how these experiences fit into the attitudes and feelings that you carry with you now. You will be in touch with portions of yourself that have been closed away from your conscious awareness. You will increase your ability to reach these parts of yourself. Your dreams will become more part of your conscious awareness as this experience today is processed and integrated by you, and you will use constructively the material that came into your mind in response to my questions. This knowledge will filter down from your subconscious to your conscious mind in the form of thoughts or visual impressions. The answers and impressions that came to you will flood back into your memory, and you will be able to fill out the trip record without difficulty. You will not share your experience with others until you have completed your trip record. Then you will feel comfortable in discussing your experience with myself or the others in the group. Now, picture to yourself the ball of golden energy sparkling out in a far corner of space. Picture that energy rolling and flowing down through the darkness of space, penetrating the atmospheric envelope of Earth, coming down to this room and coming to rest at your feet. In a moment, I'm going to awaken you by counting from 1 up to 10. When I reach the count of 10, your eyes will open. You'll be wide awake, completely out of the hypnotic state, awakening with a marvelous feeling of well-being, feeling remarkably cheerful, fine, and wonderful in every conceivable way. Counting now. 1. The ball of golden energy enters through your toes, moves up your feet, your ankles, and your calves. 2. The ball of energy is moving through your knees and up your thighs. 3. The energy is moving up your hips. 4. The energy is moving into your waist, up your torso. 5. The ball of energy leaps into your fingers of both hands, travels up your hands, through your wrists, up into your elbows, and into your upper arms. 6. The energy is moving into your shoulders. 7. The energy is moving into your neck and up into your jaw muscles. 8. The energy is moving through your face, around the back of your head, and up into the crown of your head. 9. Your body is alive with vibrant energy and you're exceptionally clear-headed. 10. Eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and wonderful in every conceivable way. Okay. How's everyone doing? Good, 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 good. Okay. I'm going to pause the recording and I'm going to give you 10 minutes to fill out your paperwork. Okay. So now I'm going to give you some questions to think about and raise your hand, whatever you want to do. How long did it seem to you in minutes from the time I said close your eyes until the time I told you to open your eyes? For some of you, it felt like just a few minutes, and for some of you, it felt like forever, right? Were any of you a little bit ahead of me on this trip? Like you intuitively knew the next question I was going to ask? Or telepathically got it, right? How many of you went to 1900? How many of you went to the time period 1800? How many of you went to 1700? How about the 1500? Did anyone find themselves around the time 25 AD? Was anybody in the 500 BC time period? How many of you found yourselves bouncing between different lifetimes before settling on the one you eventually explored? Ah, a few of you did. Okay. Did you feel as though you were making this up from things you'd read or seen, like movies, books, or TV programs? Yeah, it kind of started off feeling like that at first, didn't it? Did it change? Yeah. Remember, I did tell you it would. Then ask yourself this question. Why those particular images? What could their meaning be? And if these movies Books and TV programs have a common theme that you're drawn to, fascinated by, or feel a strange affiliation for or familiarity with. Why? That's your homework. Before we close, some comments and observations. I leave you with the thought that the human psyche is truly eternal, and that the boundaries of that same marvelous spiritual essence may virtually be without limits. If it should seem strange to you that you have lived before and that you will live again, is it any less strange that you should have lived at all? Your very existence is a miracle. Accept your eternality as a natural process that follows your having come into being. Accept it, learn from it, grow from it. Thinking about reincarnation starts to make some real sense because it energizes the notion that one's life can really mean something beyond its apparent end. When we discover that we're not just here by random biological chance, we begin to address our inner truths. We become more capable of coming to terms with our place in the scheme of things when we realize that we are indeed immortal beings. I have found that for the overwhelming majority of my clients, after a past life, between lives regression, they come to know that there is order and purpose, and they have a part to play in this grand scheme, in the stage play called life, my life, play in which they are the producer, director, and scriptwriter, which is, of course, an apt analogy. In the words of the immortal bard, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. Each has their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. And you get to decide whether this play is more like a Greek tragedy, slapstick comedy, quirky melodrama, or exciting action adventure. You have a purpose and thus a personal mystery to unravel. You have a journey, and its end is beyond the horizon of your wildest imagination. Thank you for being such a receptive audience. And if you'd like to experience one of the other past life regressions or re-experience this one, send me an email, georgiaryle@georgiaryle.com. Be the easiest way to get me. Again, georgiaryle@georgiaryle.com. Thanks and have a wonderful day.